so I'm done.
Sir, can you give me my ID?
No, because I'm going to make sure
I'm not
nobody wants
doing
warrants,
nothing wrong here.
and then I'm going to educate you on the camping
I'm
ordinance
only,
right now.
that's not my house.
So, I mean, did you know there's a cleanup happening real soon already?
I don't know anything about that.
Nothing about it. But you came out here to tell people they can't have their tents up?
I'm just backing up my partner.
So you can plead the fifth, basically, is what you're trying to do?
I'm dealing with another call is what I'm doing. You're not a part of my call, are you?
Well, we're paying your taxes.
Am I detaining you?
No, but I'm very curious as to what you're detaining my friends for, even if I don't know who they are.
He clearly ain't your friend. He's upset that you're recording him.
Obviously.
So,
Obviously.
it's apparent he's not your friend.
Okay, keep going.
If he wants to talk to you, he can talk to you later about what's going on.
No, well, by that time, you guys will be on another call. And you know, some people might get jacked for some wrong reason. And that happens all the time, dude. This is like a kidnapping fishing expedition, really. Because as you get people's IDs, the whole point is, let's see if they got a warrant. I mean, is that a possibility, or is that outside the realm of possibility, or? I mean, because this feels like harassment to me. And the way you feel is how everyone else feels. There's nowhere for people to go. You know this. You have to follow orders, and that's the problem. Who are you taking your orders from? Because it's not about people. Because there's no reason for this. What are you doing right now? I mean, you're harassing people. This is already a desperate situation as it is. Running water, where is it? You know, barely these portopotties. As many of these that I've cycled through for the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know how else to not feel like this. And I have noticed that when video does come, people behave a lot better. Yep, now they're posting notice now. I'm kind of disappointed your guys' departments don't like click and coordinate and have any kind of communication about one to the other or any of that, you know?
What's your real name? What were you in this picture? Wolf, there's another guy here.
Was somebody in there?
Please, please, 1 out of 10, please. Right here, please, PD.
Officer Provost, I'm very interested in being educated on the homeless ordinance as you were about to talk about.
The camping ordinance?
Yes.
Yeah, so city code says that you can't have your encampment up between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. I mean, we have so many encampments, you can't obviously walk around all day. But when we get a chance, we come out here and try to educate people on the city code. So that's what we're doing right now.
Okay, but as you educate them, are you passing out any kind of leaflets or anything?
Any what?
Leaflets,
I don't know
like
what that is.
informational something, paper
it's all
handout?
verbal. No, it's all verbal. We're just giving them the brief synopsis of what the city code says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is?
Your tent can't be set up between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Okay, like, you said periodically, so basically how many do you do in a row before, like, you have to go on another call?
It just depends on how, I don't determine, who calls in and needs us.
Uh-huh.
So just when time permits, we come out here. It's very rare that we actually, enforce it unless we come out here and every time and people just don't listen. You can only educate somebody so much before we actually have to start doing stuff about it. But we try to come out here and educate people as we go, and some people actually listen. Some people don't. We don't come out here trying to harass people, but we kind of try to educate them and try to clean this place up a little bit.
Well, so like, but how does the city help any of that? I mean, because obviously enforcement is a huge issue, but what other programs is available for the 1,300 plus people that are outside other than the education?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of programs are out there.
Shouldn't you be able to coordinate that since this is part? I mean, you should have that kind of answer. You're educating.
I don't.
Please educate.
You're the homeless advocate, correct?
Yes.
So maybe you can educate me.
Right. Well, I can tell you that the Coalition of Homeless Service Providers has a position on sweeps, and it's near akin almost to what you're doing right now, without taking their belongings, but you are trying to take them.
Take what?
Well, I mean, you're asking for ID, and what purpose is that for?
Yeah, so that way, if I come out here in a couple weeks and I talk to the same person, I know names a lot better than I know faces. So if I come across the same name over and over, I realize, hey, I've already educated you on this. What are we going to do about the problem?
And what is the problem?
The city code. Having the tent up between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Okay, and what could the city do about that problem as well? What is the city doing about that problem?
Ask the city.
Because if the only solution is, well, we have a problem because you shouldn't have a tent, I mean, how does that help the problem? I mean, especially of affordable housing.
Mr. White, I don't have an answer for that.
Shouldn't you though? I mean, as someone who's like enforcing whatever you're doing here.
No, I don't have an answer to everything. I just know what I can and can't enforce. I'm coming out here trying to educate people on the city code.
There's a big fat no, but where are the yeses?
I don't know, Mr. White.
Then, so, shouldn't that be a question you should be doing in the morning briefing or something like that? I mean, what kind of training you guys getting on this? Is this the length and breadth of the training?
Okay. I think this conversation is done, Mr. White.
All right. Well, I wish you weren't taking their information. If you were really educating people, then I don't think that'd be a part of the process.
I'm definitely educating.
Because if you're not doing it to 1,300 people, then you're really not getting a clear base.
Frank, all right. Well, I gotta get back to business because they're getting quoting me on the radio. All right.
Good luck. Stay safe, man.
Get him, Wes. Get him, Wes.
Good. So she's got a Frank, but she's got a whole bunch of absences. Already told him.
So I do have another question, if you have time.
Let's hear it, and I'll.
Martin versus Boise. How does that reconcile with the city ordinances?
I have no clue. I don't make up the city codes, so you're gonna have to talk to the city attorney.
Okay, thank you.
Still following us, Mr. White?
Yeah.
Are you aware of 369I of the penal code?
Oh, is this kind of like an entrapment type of deal?
No.
I'm trying to observe you from a safe distance. Do you feel I'm a threat to you or something?
No, I don't feel that you're a threat. But
I'm trying to observe you as well.
Are you going to let me talk or are you just going to keep interrupting me?
No, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so technically you're not supposed to be within 20 feet of the railroad tracks per penal code. And then everything between that fence and here belongs to Union Pacific.
Okay.
And then I came out here a couple weeks ago with the Union Pacific officers. They advised us to notify people as we go. That's 602 of the penal code, so that you're trespassing because this is their property. They also have posted signs all the way along the fences. Some of them may have been cut down from people, but I'm just educating you.
Yeah, please.
So that way you don't get caught up in this again. So I would ask you to try to not walk on the railroad tracks. I understand we're just trying to figure out what's going on out here. Contacting people, saying hi to people that we normally see, try to tell them to get away from the railroad tracks and whatnot. We're not doing any enforcement out here. We're just making our rounds, community policing, showing our face out here, and going from there. But I am going to ask you to not walk along the railroad tracks. I am advising you that it technically is trespassing within fencing here and the fencing here. All right. So just so you're aware, so that way you don't get caught up in anything.
So I guess I'm trying to understand, like, so, but you're going to continue down, correct?
Absolutely.
So, and basically, almost preemptively, what you're trying to do is prevent me from observing what you're about to do.
Oh no, you can observe any. You can observe
No, well, I mean, and you understand, part of this is it's not court admissible unless you can hear the conversation.
I don't understand what you're getting at.
Well, I mean, if I'm not close enough to hear the conversation that's transpiring, it's not going to be court admissible.
Okay, well, you can go to the Union Pacific and see if they'll give you a pass to allow you onto the tracks, but other than that, there's not much we can do here.
All right. Well, is it okay if I walk you back to the edge of the
You can walk
opening?
back with us, so that way we make sure you're safe.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, from there, I just don't want you to get caught up on anything. And also, there was a
Right.
chain
So
of
in
evidence.
media has no precedent over that at all. Huh?
No, media
I
doesn't get any
mean,
free passes.
I don't get any kind of recognition, because I mean, you understand my purpose. It's just like you said, to observe and see what a great job you guys are doing.
Yeah, and I have no problem with you observing. I mean, I was on television for a year and a half. You know, I have no problem with you shooting a camera in my face. But you got to do it from a reasonable area. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm just letting you know about those two penal codes I just informed you about, because we were out here at the Union Pacific a couple weeks ago. They try to make their rounds, but they only have 6 officers from San Luis Obispo all the way up to the Bay Area. So they don't always make their rounds through Salinas because they have so much turf to cover. So sometimes we got to come out here and try to re-educate people, because once one person moves, somebody else moves back in.
Right. Well, and honestly, I would be trying to partner with you guys to educate, and so that actually does entail that there are quite a few people I know who live all the way down the tracks, and that way too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I know who live out on the tracks too. So now that I educated you on this, feel free to educate everybody you know out here.
Right.
So that way it makes our job easier.
Yeah, well, and the one real big issue is, where do you go? I mean, like I said, a lot of no's, but no yeses. I mean, this is almost affordable housing. We had RVs, we had, whatever forms of affordable housing. This is kind of it.
Yeah. But still, you gotta understand it's kind of dangerous to live out on the tracks.
Well, sure. Well, it's dangerous everywhere. I mean, they were doing a lot better when they were in those vacant lots over there than on the sidewalk. I mean, there was people got hit by being on the sidewalk. By cars.
Train tracks too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, and people actually step over here and sit down and wait for the tracks, which is horribly tragic as well.
All right, so we'll walk you back, all right, Mr. White?
Sure.
You don't get hurt or anything like that.
Well, and I guess, I don't know, I mean, I'm not trying to break the law, but I am going to try to visit my friends as it goes along or whatever. I mean, I understand, like because just the same as you, I mean, you just...
And make sure you educate your friends on the trespassing on the railroad tracks.
Right.
For both sections of it,
Well,
as well as the camping ordinance and all that. Why don't you have some of your friends go live with you? So that way they don't
It's not my responsibility. Are you kidding me?
Okay. I thought maybe since you cared about your friends, you
Yes.
would let them.
Yeah, it's 1,300 people.
I don't know.
I mean, this is wealth inequality. I mean, when it comes back to it, because
Well, you talked about private lots. I know this guy in that building right here is selling his private lot. If you want to buy that, and so they can camp on it.
yeah, right. Well, but then you have to go by zoning and everything else. I mean, this is a state of emergency as well. I mean, it's supposedly a state of emergency. I mean, and what do we do with people? I mean, really, are we trying to redirect people, or are we trying to be punitive? That's the overarching question I'm trying to get at, because what I saw was a near miss with someone that may or may not have had a warrant, not get taken, which to me I would consider a huge victory, just in that itself. So but I'm still going to be in the field, covering stories and talking to people, my sources, and more or less, I'm hoping that Salinas PD will be so gracious as to offer me some kind of immunity in the future, so this doesn't become the precursor of like, well, we warned you, because seriously, what are we really trying to get at? I just wish we were more solution oriented rather than no
So
oriented.
what do you think we could do, Mr. White?
I think if we were to redirect behavior, you know, porta potties and dumpsters, that's what the Coalition of Homeless Service Providers has put in their position paper. At least a week's notice for them to actually come and respond and bring field outreach to the to each individual encampment, and you know, provide at least a week for them to have the specific health and safety code issues cited and mitigated. And then, you know, and if you don't like them there, well then, there again, they have to have permission to be somewhere, and just buying something isn't enough.
So it sounds like you already have all your ducks in a row. So I would recommend, you know, writing up a proposal and presenting it to City Council.
Okay.
Yeah. And see where it goes from there.
Right. Okay.
Because it sounds like you've been thinking about this for quite some time.
Yeah.
So if you got answers, let's work with it.
Okay. Well,
Get
and
some
so does the homeless service providers. So I mean, and that's already their partner, and that's what the service providers is saying they need from the city. So actually, it might work better from your end to talk to your higher ups about it.
No.
Well, you know, then I guess, but you are the community policing.
Absolutely.
So
but
thank you for
but
that.
I'm not going to steal your idea, Mr. White.
But you can certainly refer to me. You can credit me. But to be honest, it's the homeless service providers, and it's a well known. You know, I mean, they need to be partners with it, and I don't see this as a clear partnership at the moment.
Well, that's true.
You know, and hopefully it improves.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully everything here improves.
Right.
It's just we got a card.
Well.
It's Union Pacific. Union Pacific.
Oh, okay.
You could ask them if they give you a pass.
Oh,
See how that works.
well,
Since this is their property.
that's a good way to go.
Your guess.
Oh, it's actually not you.
They're usually on course, so
All right.
they might even be
We'll walk
marked
you
by
back,
the
Mr.
minute.
White.
Yes. Well, I would ask it, you know, as a courtesy, you know, if you're only doing educational, then I don't think it was in the best interest to be asking people for ID. But, you know, that's.
Well, like I said, I like to know who I'm talking to. We also have a lot of people who are at large who are hanging out here because it's hard to get out here. We don't make very many trips out here. We're not giving anybody any new violations. But if somebody isn't, you know, a parolee at large, you know, we have a job to do. You know, if they have an active felony warrant, we can't just turn our head. You know, does that make sense? There's a
To
reason-
some degree.
You know,
I mean,
but
it
warrant
almost seems like a fishing expedition to another.
it's
I mean, a fishing expedition, hunting expedition. You know, hey, we came here to grab somebody. Let's find somebody. There's bound to be somebody.
we don't enjoy taking people to jail. You know how much paperwork happens out of that?
Well, what else would you do all day?
We literally don't have to do anything except respond to calls for service.
And I mean, and that's what I would rather see you be doing.
How many people have you seen arrested us, Mr. White?
Nobody yet. Yeah, no, you've been doing well so far.
We only arrest people if we absolutely have to.
Right. Well, that's encouraging. I like that idea. I mean,
We don't enjoy it. Because then we had, you know, it takes us 10 minutes to get to county jail. We sit there for 2 hours. And
yeah.
then, you know,
Right, and you have to go through court and,
then,
everything
and then
else.
by the time we
yeah.
come back, we have 10 calls for service in our beat.
Exactly.
And then we're swamped.
Yeah.
We don't enjoy arresting people. But if we can fix problems, you know, one at a time, we want to fix problems one at a time.
Well, it almost seems like you're looking for problems while you're trying to fix them.
All of this is a problem. You know?
Yeah. Well, it
Just
would.
because they're within the limits.
Well, if we were redirecting behavior, because you know I've heard, oh well, it's just making the trash, and you know they're all criminals, and you know, but do we respect people? I mean,
Absolutely,
you know,
respect
because if we want those circumstances gone, that's what we focus on. But instead, we're like, get rid of them all.
How many
I mean,
people are
there's a sweep right there on the wall saying they're going to do that in like 3 or 4 days.
Are they?
Yeah.
See,
And
I don't make those.
and you do community policing.
Yeah.
Throw more and more off the
That's-
tracks that I'm supposed to clean
That's
out
what we
every
do.
day.
I think it would behoove your department to work with that department. Really? I mean, it really would, and you know, I mean.
But you know what? That's above my pay grade.
But it's also part of your job, and if you're not doing your job correctly, then how are you actually doing your job?
What am I doing wrong?
Well, I mean, you're not coordinating with your other departments within your own city.
I come out here and do my best, do what I'm told, try to solve problems within the community.
Right.
There's only so much I can do.
Okay, and for feedback might be, hey, you know, maybe I'm not doing my job as well as I could be.
We'll see what we can do.
We're looking forward to it. I mean, and a lot less enforcement. I think a lot more outreach would be more appropriate, and working with the homeless service providers and letting them have first crack at doing this educational
Have you
outreach.
talked with Officer Carvey yet?
Yes.
Okay. So he'll probably have a little bit more answers than I do, because he's out here every day, trying to work with service providers. He's going to meetings with everybody, figure out what solutions we have and what we can actually do. My partner and I are out here just trying to educate people, trying to do a little bit at a time, because we're beat cops. This isn't our full-time assignment. So we have other stuff we got to respond to. You know, this isn't our full-time job. Does that make sense? So Officer Carvey is out here every day. This is a full-time assignment.
Then shouldn't he be educating instead?
He's in a meeting right now, from what I know,
Oh.
or at least he was.
I mean,
Last time I
but
saw him.
does he do this on a perpetual basis,
I don't know.
educating people?
I
Because
work
if he
nights
is,
mostly.
then there wouldn't be a need for you, right?
Yeah. Well, it takes the whole team to work, right?
Yeah,
One guy just can't solve a problem.
Well, and so I guess that was the heart of my question was how much has he outreached?
I don't know.
Oh, not you don't even know.
I don't question my coworkers on how well they do the job.
No, well, I mean,
So
but it's good to have demographics. It's good to have numbers.
We don't really keep numbers.
Yeah, I mean, an idea or something,
you
you know. I saw this block and that block. You know, there's probably 40, 80 people there or something. You know, I mean.
So I would recommend redirecting the rest of the questions to Officer Carvey, because he's gonna have a lot better answers than I have.
I've asked him a couple. He's been pretty confrontive, and I guess, you know, in the same tone. And maybe we're just at odds because we have philosophical issues, differences, you know. But it's just disappointing because this doesn't feel like outreach. I mean,
And that's your opinion.
Well, yeah, I just thought.
I don't know.
You can name drop me to any of these people. They're all going to know me. They're all going to say I'm fair and I'm reasonable and I try to help them out. So I'd recommend you do that. I'm Officer Provost. Feel free to name drop me to anybody out here.
How long have you been out here?
Almost 5 years.
In Salinas directly,
Yes,
in Chinatown.
Yeah, I worked the Chinatown beat, Chinatown and Old Town.
Oh,
About 90% of the time, 90% of my career. I know almost all these people by, I've seen them before. I've talked to them once or twice. I don't know all their names. That's why, I ask for names. And like you saw over there, I'm not going to name the female because you're recording me.
Right.
She waved at me and she knew me by name.
awesome.
Because
Awesome. Yeah, no,
I
well,
come out here and I socialize.
you know, it's good to feel safe, and thank you for that. You know.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
All right, guys, stay safe out there.
All right, you too, Mr. White.